So, I'd like to welcome everyone out to our Life University session tonight. For some of you who may not know, Life University is part of the teaching arm of the Tabernacle. Life University focuses in on 5 areas: family, finance, health, education, and leadership. Jesus said that I came that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. We know that just because someone comes to the altar and they confess Jesus as Lord and Savior, it doesn't automatically make their life better in all aspects. There are still other natural things that we have to get in order. If our health is failing, we're not having life overflow. If our family is shipwrecked, we're not having that abundant life. If our education, we're undereducated. If there's no leadership in the household, self-leadership of our own lives, I mean, things can be a mess even though we're going to heaven. And so we don't want to just know that we're going to heaven. We want to enjoy our life down here. And so we believe if we focus in on these 5 key areas, it can help us experience a better quality of life in the here and now. And so tonight, we're going to be focusing in on the area of finance. And in particular, we're going to talk about how to stretch your dollar. How many of you would like to stretch your dollar just a little bit further in today's economy? And I see some hands going way up there. Well, you picked a good day to come to Life University. You're going to learn how to make that dollar stretch just a little bit. We have not a guest, a family member of the Tabernacle here with us tonight that's going to speak to how to stretch our dollar, particularly when we talk about grocery shopping, which if you don't eat, you don't live, right? So I know we're doing that on a regular basis. He is no stranger to the Tabernacle. He is a former Kroger's executive. He was responsible for overseeing Northwest Ohio, all the stores in Northwest Ohio and Southeastern Michigan. I think he had maybe 3,300 some employees he was responsible for. So he is an elder at Cedar Creek Church. He is a dear friend of my family and the Tabernacle family. Will you all help me welcome Ed McCauley?
The first question I have for you tonight is: the average American spends what percent of their income on food at the grocery store or at restaurants? How much do you think the average American spends on food? 15% I have here. Who else?
30.
Antoine, 30%? Whoa, Lord, that's probably what I think I'm spending. Guesses?
42.
You know, the average American spends just under 10%. It's about 5.4 for groceries, and the rest of it's in restaurant and living out. But still, that's a lot of money when you actually stop and think about what we have. And then of the total spent on dollars spent on food, what percent is spent on sweets and processed food? 100%. I'm gonna jump over that chair. You said half? Yeah. Sweets and processed. Processed food is stuff that has an ingredient label with items that you cannot pronounce. That means it's got stuff in it like sodium chloride, sodium glutamate.
I'm saying 70, 80%.
You say 70, 80%. Okay, listen, gang. Right now, the average American is spending about 20% of their total food dollars, which is like 5% of the total. So what I'm asking you to do is understand that still to me is astronomical when you actually stop and think about how much money we spend on sweet and processed foods. Okay, so here's 12 ways that I listed for you to save money at the grocery store. 12 ways. Listen up. If you got a problem or you want to ask a question, yell. What's going on?
She's telling you.
Again?
No.
Okay. The first one is 10% of their income on food, and then 20% of that income is spent on sweets and processed. Okay, what the 12 ways to save money at the grocery store? The first one is blank a menu.
Make.
Create a menu. Yes, make a menu, create a menu. Create a menu. You guys are all going to say, I haven't got time, I don't have time to do that, better just go ahead and just think about it when I'm in the store. Trust me, I've been in the business for 35 years. I can tell you right now, the people that come in with that attitude go away a lot poorer. They make bad decisions. The second one is to blank the list. Make a list. You know, guys, here's the thing that happens with more people than not. If you just had something, even if it's sticky notes, some kind of a notepad around the house with a pen next to it. If we're out of toilet paper, let's write it down. If we're out of, if we're out of pie, write it down. If we need some tomatoes or salad, write it down. But here's the thing. I used to watch people come into the grocery store totally unprepared, and they would come in and they would shop in a meaningless way because they just go through and just say, oh, we haven't had that for a while. Oh, there's no menu, no list. They get to the checkout and they go, it's over $100 and they can't figure out what happened. Why? It just takes a little bit of planning. You can do it. It's just a discipline. The next one is to blank the ads. Check the ads, shop the ads. Here, do all of you get the Kroger and Meyer and ads every week? Anybody? Okay, if you get them in a plastic bag, even if you just lay them out on the table at home and just go through and just eyeball the front page of the ad, and then in your head saying, you know what, this week, Meyer has chicken legs and thighs on sale for 87 cents a pound. Stop for a second and realize 87 cents a pound for a meat product is really good, even though it's bone in. And here's the deal with the chicken leg and thigh is that you can pretty much prepare it enough to have leftovers that are actually going to be good for lunches and the next day and the next day. I'm a person with cold chicken. I like it better sometimes than a regular meal. So I'm just asking you to try to look through and say, as you're making your list and you're creating your menu, get yourself into a frame of mind where you're looking at the ad and saying, that's what I'm going to do, versus just going into the store and saying, well, I guess we'll just have some of that, because the grocery guys, they like to charge regular price for items that you're looking for if you don't have a plan. The fourth one is to use coupons. Once in a while, guys, the coupons aren't as good as they used to be because the retailers used to do double coupons, sometimes triple coupons. But I'll go through and after I make my list, after I get my menu put together, I'll look through the coupons and I'll go, oh, good, Continental's on sale. And I want to buy some TP this week, so I'll work that out, and it saves me an extra 50 cents, which is, to me, it's good. I feel like I'm winning. Okay, this one is probably one of the most important ones on the paper. Everybody needs to listen up, okay? Never blank, 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 blank.
Shop while you're hungry.
Never shop when you're hungry. Never shop when you're hungry. You, as a store manager running a store for all those years, I used to look and here they come. They just got off of work, it's 5:15, tired. And then they got a fixed dinner, they're not happy. Most of the time it was mom. By the way, guys, I need to let you know, I just don't look at me lesser with your eyes, but I do all the grocery shopping in my house. I do it because I like it. I look forward to it. I like to go through it, and Debbie and I talk about what the meals are going to be and what she's a better cook than I am, but I like to go ahead and buy the groceries. So, how you doing? But here's the deal. When people come in and they're shopping when they're hungry, they make a huge mistake on them just because they're actually going to add 25 to 30% to their bill because they're going to get stuck with this, which the next item says, only blank what is blank on your blank blank. Only buy what's on your list. Most of the time, if they're coming right after work, they're tired, they got to fix dinner when they get home, they're looking at the whole thing that is coming together now, they don't have a list, they don't have a menu, they don't have a plan, and they don't know what they're going to fix. So they go through and buy something that's a processed food, maybe frozen. Okay, automatically you're tripling the price of your meal, or you're going to go ahead and do something that we'll talk about in a minute. The next one says blank store brands. Yeah, shop them. I think you should shop your store brands. I mean, there's certain store brands, I used to think Kroger frozen vegetables were better than the name brand, and they were $1 cheaper a bag, so I would go through and shop them. Shop your store brands. There's nothing wrong with that. How you guys doing? Come on, good to see you. Do we have enough sheets for those guys? You guys are going to flunk the test because you missed the first 5, okay? Oh, you were serving? Okay, we'll get a run through. You heard. Okay. Okay, now this one's going to catch you off guard, just a little bit, but know that this right here is comparison blank while in the store. Comparison shop. Comparison shop. Okay, so let's pretend we're standing in front of the pickle section. And there's you want to get some dill pickles. We're having burgers tonight. They want the slices. And you all know that in a regular grocery store, there's probably at least 4, maybe 5 different brands of dill sliced pickles. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
On every grocery store today, they have this thing called the unit shelf price. And the unit shelf price is how much those pickles are per ounce. And they'll also have a sale tag sometimes next to it. But here's the thing, guys. You can look at the sale tag and see what the unit price per ounce is, but then you can go down to the store brand and you can see that even though it's not even on sale, it's cheaper than the sale. So that's called comparison shopping with a mindset saying, I want to try to make the most out of my food dollar knowing that it's still going to taste just as good. I mean, some people say, well, I can't live without my plastic pickle. Okay, then you got to buy your plastic pickle. You go ahead and get them when they're on sale. That's great. The next one is shop the meat department blank. Shop the meat department blank. Here it is, you ready? You guys are going to think I'm a little screwy, but this is what I do. If you get into the store early, before in the morning, not after work, but before 9 o'clock, around there, 8 o'clock. I look at the meat department markdowns. And I do because in a lot of, if you've got a good butchers and they're good meat cutters, they're going to keep that case moving and rotated. And if you go over to the markdown section, you can look at it, you can see sometimes in a markdown section there's gnats flying around and it smells terrible. That's not a good place to shop. But if you see a bunch of good-looking steaks that are going out of date that they're marking down because they have to get it going or they get fired, then all of a sudden you're going to save yourself big money. And by the way, that little brown that sometimes shows up on a T-bone or a porterhouse, that makes the meat better. It actually causes the meat to become more tender. But you got to be careful. The true test is just to give it a smell. If you smell a rancher smell, put it down and walk on and go get yourself something else. But I shop meat department markdowns because I think there's a quality and a huge price range. Tracking okay? Everybody keeping any questions so far? Hello.
On the, you said shop, markdown.
If it's a good butcher shop.
Okay, right. But what is the date span like? Tomorrow, 3 days, next day? Are you put it in the freezer?
Sure. If this one doesn't smell bad, I get it home and make sure it's not rancid. If it's rancid, then you got to make it happen now. But if you're going to freeze it, you can freeze that steak. Yes. Yeah, and you're going to save some money. The thing, guys, I don't want to have you all go in the markdown section, but sometimes if you get in the right meat department with a good bunch of butchers, they're going to go through and they're required to put a date on that's a sell-by date as they cut the meat. Some guys cheat and they pull it off and they rewrap it and add some more date to it. It's inappropriate, but they do it. But at the same time, you're going to tell a good market because their meat's going to be selling. And when they do mark it down, they're doing it because they don't want to have anything in their case that even gets close to looking not really nice. Does that make sense? Yes. The next one says, check out blank, like Ivana, Meyer, Perks, etc. Check out your apps. There's something going on with apps right now on your phone. For those of you that use a smartphone, you can sign up for Ivana, which is IBOTTA. It's free. And what you'll do is they'll say, what do you want coupons on? And they'll give you a free grocery. What department? And you can actually go. And then when you go into the store, it's just a matter of pulling out the phone and you're just like, you got everything. Pretty much smartphones are getting pretty popular. The next one is don't buy blank foods. I buy canned foods. Sometimes people with convenience on their mind go and buy prepared foods in the deli, prepared foods in the meat case. Very, very rarely are you really going to get a good value and get something. Is it cheaper to buy the chicken at Meyer that's 8 for $5.99, or is it cheaper to buy Colonel Sanders? Now, I know I love Colonel Sanders too, but here's the problem, is that you're gonna save more money. If you have to buy the Meyer chicken, it's gonna be cheaper. But in my mind, I'm gonna try to figure out a way to buy the 87-cent a pound drums and thighs, have those babies cooked ahead, and then be able to work those through a couple, 3 days. Does that make any sense to you, to stretch your food dollars? When you buy prepared foods, you're paying for that food to get prepared for you. It's just a fact of life. Okay, stay within your budget is my last one. Stay within your budget. So most people, like when you go through and you kind of, Debbie and I, my wife, we sit down and we make a food budget out what we're actually going to spend. You know, I'm required to stay within the food budget. So when I get done, I have to be able to go ahead and say, hey, budget this week is good. And that's what we have to go through and just kind of look at. So I'm asking you to consider, just if you aren't currently doing it, somehow knowing that, you know, finance is an important part of what you want to try to do to have that well-being that Pastor talked about at the beginning, is to sit down and say, this is what we're going to set aside to actually spend on food a week, and then you'll find yourself being more aggressive with having a menu, having a list, looking at store apps, trying to figure out where the coupons are, and then how are we going to make sure I maximize my dollar? Because, guys, when you actually multiply 10% of our income, that's a lot of money. Right? Was any of that helpful to anybody? Are we sleeping yet? Good. So the eat, drink, and eat and drink healthy. I just wanted to say the last thing is to stay out of the blank, blank, blank.
Frozen food at.
Junk food out?
No. I think we ought to stay out of the fast food restaurants.
Does my job count?
I think, you know, I'm just trying to tell you guys, I'm overweight myself, and I know that, but at the same time, I know that fast food is a huge convenience. I mean, I saw a commercial the other day where Whopper's got a Whopper fry and a drink for $5, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I would love to have that right now. But I also know it's terrible for me. It's unbelievably huge in calories, fat. It's got all the stuff that I don't want running through my bloodstream. And guys, when you start getting in the habit, you know, I see guys that I work with every day at Cedar Creek going to lunch. They go out and they make lunch every day. And I'm sitting there every day, I pack my lunch. I pack my lunch every day. I still do every day. And I watch those guys going out, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm eating 5 lunches for what they're spending for lunch for one day. And that's when I spend my money on my lunch. That's just, you can call it frugal, but it takes me probably 5 minutes in the morning to kind of throw it in the tub. I take it to work and throw it in the fridge in the office. And then at lunchtime, I sit down and I get to go ahead and have my lunch and eat it right there. So I'm asking you to think about, if you have a fast food addiction, to try to figure out a way to get away from it. It's not good for you. Yes, sir.
On the create menu,
Yeah.
like thinking about breakfast up there and snacks.
You know what, Pastor? I think what I try to do with the menu is, like, for Debbie and I, it's pretty easy. When you got a bunch of kids, and some of them don't like this, and some of them don't like this, and they like, don't shake your head at me, because you know who you are. But you got to figure out a way to come up with a base thing. So, like for cereal and stuff for the kids, and eggs and waffles, or whatever you're going to have for breakfast, I think about those 3 items. For lunch, I think about peanut butter jelly and lunch meat with some bread. And then for when they do some for the grandkids when they come over. And then for dinner, I just think about the main thing I'm going to actually serve. It's going to be the protein, the starch, and the green. I try to have at least those three items going. And that's how I plan the menu out. Good? The next page on the back of your paper, I've got what is questions. So we're going to see just how much fun we can have. What is merchandising? What they put on your... What they put on your... Very good. You in merchandising? She said, what they put on display to attract your attention. Okay, and what else is merchandising? As an old retail guy that spent so many years doing it, merchandising is 2 things. Merchandising is having the product that the customer wants when he or she wants it at the price they want to pay. And secondly, merchandising is getting them to buy the items that we want them to buy because it's got a great profit and it's a great sale. That's merchandising. It's having the items that customers want, when they want it, at the price they want to pay. But merchandising is also getting them to buy what you want them to buy at the price you want to sell it for. That's what merchandising is. That's why when this wonderful woman over here says having a pretty display that attracts attention, unfortunately, most of the time, that's how people get hooked. They get tricked into that. What's impulse buying? Impulse buying, yes!
When you just buy something because you see it.
Up by the cash register, buy it because you see it, yes!
Basically, you're saying that you need it, but you really just want it.
You think you need it, but it wasn't on your list, it wasn't on your menu?
Yeah, it's basically like the same thing with like technology and stuff, or like some good food, like you're saying with like certain goods and stuff. People are
Absolutely.
like, oh, I need really
Good
need
for
it.
you. Guys, you know what's happened? Yes, sir.
Oh, I was gonna say buy it because it looks good.
Yeah. You know, but one of my big problems, that I had, I gave them up. I had to give them up because they were killing me. Is that if I walk by a display and I see Lay's potato chips with a $2 price on them, like half what they normally charge, I'm thinking, well, I can have half those gone before I even get home. And then Debbie would never find out. But then she'd see the crumbs on my face. But an impulse buy is something where you actually pick it up because you feel like, I want that. And it's not on your list, and it's not something you're really supposed to do. Have you noticed how the store, like, I know I go into different stores and they have things at the registers that are going to go ahead and try to entice people to pick it up. It could be a stupid magazine that's got some weird story on the front of it. It could be candy at the check stands that the kids all want. I want that, I want that. There could be the hot chicken cup with a little chicken, popcorn chicken in it. All the stuff that we look, those are all impulse items. And I'm begging you, if you want to save money on your food bill, to think about how can I make sure I've got a list and I've got a plan before I go in there and never go to the store hungry. Because if you go to the store hungry, you automatically say, well, I'm hungry, I need to eat. Okay. Holiday feature buying. Holiday feature buying.
So how?
It's a big secret, okay? You guys you can't tell anybody I told you this, okay? It's like a car dealer telling you how much the car really costs. You still want to know that. In the grocery industry and in many industries, the items that are on the front page of the ad are, for the most part, what they call a loss leader. A loss leader is something that is probably they're losing money on it, but they lose it because they want to lead people into the store. So when you see the front page, I always just spend most of my time looking at the front page to plan my menu because I'm okay with them losing some money on that because I still got to buy toilet paper from them, which is, but when I look at this stuff and I see the chicken on the front is 87 cents a pound, they're not making that much money on that chicken. And I look at other things like this cantaloupe at 99, that's a great price there. And I look through the items, but at the same time, guys, here's the deal. I don't need any Ritz crackers. I don't want any Ritz crackers. Don't buy Ritz crackers because you see they're on sale. That's a bad move. But look at the front page and think about the fact that, hey, I want to try to do the best I can this week and make a good menu, make a good list, and stretch my food dollars. So when you see holiday feature buying, I'd like for somebody to help me name. I have 9 holidays in my head. 9 major food holidays. Let's start in January. What's the first major food holiday in January?
New Year's.
New Year's. Absolutely. Beautiful. You guys are so smart. What's the next major food holiday on the calendar?
Easter.
No.
Valentine's.
Valentine's Day.
No, it's not. Listen to me. The next major food holiday is going to be when the Pittsburgh Steelers win the Super Bowl. No, it's called the Super Bowl. What are you kidding me? It's like the Cowboys. Okay. So we got. Is everybody okay? calm down. So Super Bowl, the next one's gonna be Easter as a major food holiday. You roll into Memorial Day, you roll into the 4th of July, you go through the old Labor Day thing, you're swinging back into Halloween, which has become, for some crazy reason, one of the craziest holidays of the year now, which when I was a kid, it was just okay. And then the next one's Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. Major food holidays, meaning the cats that are putting those ads together have to really sharpen their pencil because they've got to make sure that they get people into their store. That's why you see crazy prices on turkey, crazy prices on ham, crazy prices on stuff that they're going to actually serve for the different holiday meals. So here's what I'm asking you to consider. I don't want you to go packing your freezers up with a bunch of stuff, but if you see something that you know your family really does enjoy, and you go out there and you see they've got a ground chuck, for example, and you know they love spaghetti at home, they love burgers at home, they love the stuff that we can do with ground chuck, which is good cooking meat. And they see it for $1.59 at the 4th of July because that's what they've got to advertise with so they can lose money, but lead people in the store so they'll buy everything else they need for their 4th of July thing. I'm asking you to consider to maybe buy triple what you would normally buy to pack some away in some nice freezer Ziploc bags to have for a rainy day because you're not going to see it for $1.59 again. Does that make sense? That's called holiday feature buying. That's what I'd like for you to think about. Looking at the ads when they come out. Like I always tell people at church, they go, where should I buy my ham? And I'll sit there and say, wait a couple weeks. So they'll have hams on sale. They'll have a ham that'll be coming back and it'll be on sale for Christmas. They'll have ham on sale for graduation. They'll have ham on sale for Easter. And if you want to have a ham, go ahead and do it. But here's something, did you know that if you go to your grocery store locally, and even though they may growl, sometimes most of them are really friendly, you can actually have the ham sliced and tied. You can have a sliced sandwich size for you, which means you can actually take it home. If you wanted to, you can freeze some of it. Freezing ham doesn't make it perfect, but you can freeze ham. You can go ahead and have it then for sandwiches down the road. And you're going to be paying $1.89 or $1.79 a pound versus $4 a pound, which you'll pay out of lunch meat case. The next one is, what is the share of stomach? Share of stomach. Crude and rude to say it, but here it is, guys. The share of stomach is what all of these guys in the restaurant business, the grocery industry are fighting over. They're all fighting over the share of their stomach. That's why, that's how we looked. Everybody looked at it that way in the grocery. We had to figure out a way to cut as many restaurants out as we could. We had to figure out a way to have the restaurants are doing the same thing as the grocery stores. They're right now thinking, if I could get a guy to stop in here and pay $5 for a Whopper fry and a Coke, versus going home and fixing his own meal for about half of that, I'm into it. And that's how they cause us crazy Americans, because we look at stuff and we say, hey, I want that. That sounds like what I want to do. And that's why I'm asking you to consider to realize that the battle of the share of the stomach is really tough, and that's why the advertising and all the stuff you hear, it sounds really good, but you got to be careful. What's the real deal? What am I really looking to get? The next one is what is a seasonal deal? Seasonal deal is a little different than the other one. Like right now, I love strawberries and cantaloupe. I cut up my own strawberries and cantaloupe at home. I get them in a tub. Deb and I have fruit salad, throughout the week, and it takes me about 20 minutes to get them all cut and clean. But cantaloupe in the middle of November tastes. So you have to go through and pick out what's going to be the seasonal item that I can actually enjoy. That's a produce item that's going to be plentiful. In October, November, it's going to be apples. It's going to be pears. It's going to be different kind of hard fruits. But I look at those things, and the same thing goes for seasonal items like chicken breast. Have you ever noticed how chicken breast is like $2.99 a pound, $2.99 a pound, and all of a sudden it goes to $1.88 a pound? Why is that? It's a loss leader is one thing, but we're glad you can make it. But here's the deal with the chicken, is the chickens haven't just, kind of frozen in time. They're really in a spot where there's a lot of them, abundance of them, and they have to go ahead and turn into chicken breast so that we can have it eat. So they have to lower the price to move more chicken. It's supply and demand. So if you have people all eating ham for Christmas, you can pretty much be guaranteed the second week in January, there's gonna be a chicken breast sale. I always watch for it, I watch seasonal selling, I know the chickens didn't get sold during Christmas, because everybody's eating ham and turkey, and now we're rolling into chicken breast, because the chickens, they're still growing, they're still, moving on. Multiple count purchase. What is a multiple count purchase? What? No. Listen to me. Okay. Gosh. Buy 10, get 10. Okay, so here's the deal. Last week, for example, on the front of Kroger's ad, they had 10 half gallons of milk for $10. Okay, 10 half gallons for $10. For me, that's a good price. That's $1 a half gallon. Debbie and I don't drink that much milk. But at Meijer, $1.49 a gallon. So I'm paying $2 for a gallon at Kroger, and I'm paying $1.49 at Meijer. The 10 for 10 thing causes people not to go through in their head and do some simple math that says, hey, you know what? This isn't working. This isn't really adding up. And that's why I look at multiple count purchases. I'm always leery, because I think unless you can prove to me that's really a meaningful deal, I ain't gonna buy it. And I like bush beans at Meijer, they'll run them for a 10 for 10. Well, regular price is $1.09. So I'm like thinking, well, why am I paying, saving 9 cents? Big whoopee. So, and here's another thing. BOGOs. Buy one, get one free. You think the FTC really made a law that came out and said, you're not allowed to raise the price so that you can BOGO it. I'm still seeing it today in the grocery stores. I walk through the stores and I look and I say, last week that was $3.99. This week it's $4.59, but it's buy one, get one free. So they raised the price, and even though you're still saving money, they jack the price up on the regular retail so they can make it buy one, get one free. So my advice to you is to watch the multiple count purchase and make sure it adds up in your head before you jump on the sale. Just because it says 10 for 10 doesn't mean it's a sweet deal. Just because it says BOGO doesn't buy one, get one doesn't mean it's a good deal. What's a profit promotion in a grocery store? What's a profit promotion?
Double the price on a product.
Yeah. I want to talk to you. What's a profit promotion? You're the display queen. You know about displays, okay? Here's what happens. You got this beautiful display of ice cream on sale for $1.99 a half gallon. Great ice cream, great price. Usually, what's right above it? Ice cream toppings. That's a profit promotion. See, that ice cream toppings is a 35 to 40% marked up item. And if you pick up the half gallon of ice cream, which they're selling as a lost leader, but all of a sudden you grab the $2.59 chocolate fudge topping, guess what? The store just did good. They ended up getting a profit promotion because you got tied in. My advice to you is to go ahead and look at it. If it's a sale and it makes sense to you, grab it. If not, put it off and maybe get it next time because it'll probably be on sale a week from now, and you'll be able to still have the ice cream. What's a unit shelf pricing we talked about? Did I do something wrong, buddy? Good. So the unit shelf pricing is something we talked about with looking at the ounces. Sometimes the labels are screwy, but do the best you can to at least glance at it. Try to just at least check 3 just to go through and say, this is my best deal. Because like I told you, sometimes just because it's got a sale tag on it, you're not going to be as happy as you look down and say, oh my gosh, that's cheaper than my that. And guys, here's the other thing. I see people, I used to watch them, and I try to help them with it. But if you're not going to use the ginormous bottle of plastic pickles, there's only 2 people in the house that like it. There's only 2 people in the house that like the big pickles, the dill pickles. Don't buy the big one because it's cheaper. Does that make sense? Have you all had that problem? I know I have. You end up throwing stuff away. Yeah, actually. What's a high-low merchant? What's a high-low merchant? Yes, you're close. You're doing good. This is Kroger and Meijer are both high-low merchants. Low price on the front page. High on the shelf. That's how they balance it. That's how they have to go through and make it work. They're gonna blow through chicken this week at 87 cents, and somehow, some way, they're hoping that they're gonna be able to sell enough of the other stuff in the meat case to offset the price they're gonna be selling on that. That's a high-low merchant. What's an EDLP merchant? EDLP merchant is a Costco or a Sam's. It's an everyday low price. Everyday low price. So they really just kind of keep it kind of level. Now, am I back on this one now? So the thing I try to advise people is that look at the front page of the ads and pick out what you think you're going to do, because this week I'm positive I'm going to be able to buy chicken legs and thighs for 87 cents a pound, cheaper at Meijer than I will at Sam's or Costco. Because it's a front page loss leader. Now Sam's and Costco, next week when Meijer's back to regular price at $1.99 or $1.89, Costco will still be at $1.29. But I'm going to save money this week at 87 cents a pound. That's how I look at a high-low merchant as somebody that I look at their front page and say, I would like to get if I can fit it into my menu and it fits what my family likes it, I'm going to go ahead and purchase that item and try to make the most of that sale. But then looking at an everyday low price merchant, if you do like Costco or Sam's and want to pay the money for a card, you're going to be able to go in and get some regular stuff, especially if you have a huge family, because they're big sizes that are going to save you a bunch of money. Questions? I'm pretty good on time too, Pastor. I want to let you know. Okay. Go. High-low merchant, he's confused about high-low merchant. The high-low merchant really focuses on making sure they've got features that are really, really hot. Great prices, 87 cents on chicken wings. But whereas other merchant may be at $2.99 a pound on some other meat cuts like a top sirloin or something, they'll be $3.59 a pound. So they charge more for the stuff on regular sale to offset what they're doing here. So it's a high-low merchant. It's one of those ones where I look at it and I say, you know what, I love your store, I love your people, but I'm going to go ahead and buy it. And you guys, you're going to think I've probably got a problem, but I do try to get to at least 3 stores a week. I go to 3 different stores. Number one, I love to watch the grocery industry, but it causes me to be able to go in and do what most of the merchants call me is I'm a cherry picker. Because cherry pickers just pick the stuff that's ready to go, and that's how I shop, because I know what the business is. Here's the deal. I understand you have time. You got pressure on you. You want to try to get stuff done. But you know what? I was thinking how I would be able to convey this to you, and I look around the room and I know that you all have families, and I remember my grandma, when she used to cook Sunday dinner for us, she would spend the whole day in the kitchen just cooking Sunday dinner for us with mashed potatoes, gravy, chicken, and some lima beans and stuff. And I think about the fact that today, we don't even want to spend 20 minutes preparing a meal. And I think it's one of those things that we could actually just cut some time out of something else that would allow us to go ahead and prepare a healthier meal for a lot less money than you're going to pay for somebody else to fix it for you. Questions?
So do you think it would be wise to use the sales paper and just purchase what you need at one sale at this store and then go to say at Kroger's what I need if it's the chicken here and go to Meijer's or whatever else or something that is practically one sale if they're all like in the same vicinity?
Yes, I do that. But I have to do it like really quick because I work a lot of hours. So I kind of zoom, on the way home, and I'll go in and say Kroger today, and I'll pick up a couple of things, there. But it's just me and Debbie now, except when the grandkids stay with us. But I go through and just think to myself that, I'd like to go in and just see how I can save as much money as I can on my food bill and buy smart. My wife gets mad at me because I buy too much sometimes. She'll say, oh gosh, 87 cents a pound, chicken drums and thighs, he'll be loading the freezer up. And she'll kind of look at me like, but I go, baby, I love you. And then, the next thing I know is that I go through and I just realize I'm just trying to plan meals ahead, and I try to make it so that we don't get sick of it, tired of it, then get freezer burned, because, I know that I can't control some of the things that I see that I know is a really good price. So sometimes I just got to say, well, I'm not going to Kroger this week because I only need 2 things there. Why waste my time going in there? I'm just going to skip it, and I'll Makes sense?
Yeah.
I don't go every week, I just I look and shop. Ooh. More questions? It's good. More questions?
Yeah, is there any kind of rules on how long you can read something just like you, and just feel this, I knew what was happening now? And a lot of things, my wife taught me, and I'm not sure if it was like, but is there any kind of rules on how long you can read, or like how much?
It's my phone. That's serious. No, but I have my own thing, yeah, you know what, I used to advise the people that shop in my store that I would never keep any kind of grind in my freezer for more than 60 days. I feel like it gets a little weird color around the outside. If you got a roast, I would try to keep, 90 days is the most I give on that. At Thanksgiving, I'll buy an extra turkey. I'll take the turkey, and if it's frozen, I'll ask the butcher to cut it for me in half. And then I can wrap it up. I can put half the turkey in one part of the freezer, and you can keep a turkey in there for 6 months and they go to hurt it all, as long as it's dead frozen. Fish is one of those things I'm careful with. If it's fresh fish, I like to turn it to 30 days. I don't like to keep fresh fish too long. But I like to make sure that that's how I work it, in my head. But Google will tell you exactly how long to keep it. Yes.
About food saver, I used to use it to fish a little longer.
But you're lucky you got one of those. I wish I could get one. My wife said that if I got one, she said I could leave you for a while because she knew I'd buy more stuff. At Food Saver, you could actually triple the time you're actually going to get on stuff because there won't be any air in there. Good for you.
With the food saver too, I used to cook with my kids. I used to cook a meal, put it in a little tray,
Yeah.
sausage and all that stuff, put it in the food saver, freeze it. When they go to school in the morning, take it out, put it in the microwave.
Good for you, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's if we could all start doing more of that, we'd be able to have some more, more money that we want to spend on stuff we need. Do you have any questions? I love all these. I think all this is amazing. I wish I don't know who owns that. They're a German, are they a German company or something? But those guys are sharp. They I go in there once in a while, just look around. I see people, I go in there, I think, that's really a good deal. That cantaloupe is as good as Kroger, it's twice as big, and it's 88 cents. How can I beat it? Good stuff. Anybody else? Yes.
I have a question. So, when everyone stopped, I know Myers thing was because their fruit was fresh, and they take over. I would ask, why all of a sudden did everyone change? Because you're really losing that much money on ads. That's where I was taking all my coupons, taking all my ads, and one grocery store, and bringing everyone's ad, and all you do is set the fruit there, and you say, I remember going into Myers, the guy was in there every week. He came up to me, actually, the manager did, and he was like, "We lose so much money when you come in." He said, "Every time I see you come in, I just think she's gonna, how much money." I was like, "Can't be losing that much money. It's not very good to do that." So, did they stop doing it because they want to go to their own ads? They really losing that much money from that end.
You're talking with the ad match?
Remember they used to
Oh,
ad
yeah.
match?
Yeah, I think the guys kept doing stuff with each other's ads, causing the other guy not to have enough product, not to have the right pricing on it, and it just ended up being a mess, so they quit it because it ended up being ugly for the customer because they go in and say, "I want to match this ad price," but it wasn't there because it was already gone, so everybody came in and swooped it and got it done. So, yeah, I think the grocery guys, it's still a penny profit business. I don't even think you're kidding. Yeah, it's a penny profit business. But it's one of those things where they have to go through and really watch what they're doing to make sure that they're doing all the things right. Yeah, so it's I think the coupons got dumped because there was so much handling with the coupons. Getting them counted, getting them all, sent in and all that kind of stuff. Any other? Yes.
I have a question about when they mark down the fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
When Kroger gets the bananas in, they're all green. But when they mark them down, they're like perfect. So I was wondering, why did they do that?
For bananas, you want to talk about?
Yeah.
I'm an expert on bananas. Okay. No, I am. I love bananas. So it's like the third most popular item in a grocery store. The bananas come in stone green into the warehouses, and they're dead green, stone green. I mean, they're crazy. Then they actually get put into what's called a banana room. And the banana room is actually where there's some ethylene gas and some heat that actually goes ahead and wakes the banana up. And then it begins its ripening process. So when you see it in the store and it's green, it really has been triggered to start ripening, and it really has about 7 days until that banana is going to have gnats flying around. So in a store, they know that if that banana is looking kind of really, really yellow and it's got the marks kind of showing on it, that's got 2 days before the gnats are going to be flying, and then we'll be throwing it in the dumpster. So that's why they mark it down and get it home. And you say, that banana is the best you could ever eat. It's so sweet and it tastes good. But the guy at the store said, I got to get rid of that before the gnats come.
So it's only like 7 days.
7 days is usually about the most I get from a banana coming off the truck and into a store. And that's if everything's okay, you know, with handling. Yeah, it's just some stores don't handle their product right. You know, they keep the bananas in the boxes in the back room, and they don't pull the tops off. If you pull the tops off the bananas, you add an additional 3 days automatically. That lets some of the gas out, lets some of the heat out, because they do come in kind of ready to serve. But bananas, yes. Very good question. Any other questions? Yes. It could cryovacs your food. You know, when you see stuff that comes in, it's a sealer, like you'll see you know, in the meat department, you see those whole slabs of spare ribs that are sealed up in that plastic, you know, that they buy. That's a cryovac. What he's got one is at home that it actually goes ahead and sucks all the air out and seals it to a real tight vacuum seal.
You're the produce guy. How do you store good cantaloupe or watermelon?
Cantaloupe or watermelon? It's by feel for me. Like my wife looks at me and she goes, every time you bring a watermelon home, it's perfect. I go, I've cut probably at least 500,000 of them in my life. You know, we used to sell them in halves. But the thing is that with a watermelon, I know it sounds weird, but I thump it with this finger, and I can hear a sound, and if you hear a flat sound like you're pounding on this chair, that melon ain't gonna cut good. But if you go, it's gonna cut green or it's gonna cut bad in the middle. But if I get a good little hollow sound, it sounds kind of, it's a good hollow sound, you gotta be careful, and it's got a good feel and weight, that's gonna be a decent cut. And I get excited about watermelon. Yeah.
I pick watermelon.
Yeah.
They send me every year to get it.
So you're an expert.
That's what they say.
But see, you know it, because you know why you know it feels
The
right.
way I do it is when I go in the store, I pick the one, the size that I want, I pick up at least 3 to 4. And I pick them up. Pick the heaviest one.
Don't tell everybody that, because they'll be dropping. You're probably athletic and you can do
The
it,
heaviest
okay?
one, got a lot of water in it. It's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm about maybe 90% close to that.
Good. Cantaloupe, when I do with cantaloupe, you ask about cantaloupe, I always go over, you know how they've got them sometimes cut in half? I'll go look at them. I'll just go look at it. And I'll smell one maybe to see how it smells, because those cuts, that was a whole one yesterday. So then I'll go back over to the whole ones and I'll find one that's really nice yellow. It's got a really nice yellow, and I look for ridges in my cantaloupe. So it's got a nice ridgy feel to it, and then I smell the end where the stem folds, and I'll smell it, and you can smell a good cantaloupe flavor, and I'll feel the weight. And the weight of a cantaloupe, like right now, cantaloupes are beautiful. You can't miss on them right now. They're amazing. You say, buddy. Right now, my wife and I, we love salad. We eat salad probably 7 days a week. And we're not buying any cucumbers or tomatoes because I'm growing cucumbers and tomatoes. My wife's ready to kill me about cucumbers and tomatoes. She's like, you know, that's what, you know, I cut them out. And most of the time it's kind of funny, but you know, I got so many daggone tomatoes. I'm giving them to people, you know, that are reaching over the fence and back saying, hey neighbor, come here. And it's like, but at the same time, it saves me at least, you know, it saved me $20, $30 on tomatoes the last week. So good.
And actual harder question. And I just want to know if I'm right or wrong. When people ask me about where I find organic, I tell them not to buy it certified. Second of all, I tell them if it has skin on it, like a banana or an apple, that you can remove it and put it on the inside or orange. Don't waste your money, because the
for me it is.
I just want to use your name when I speak now. That's why I was not.
You see, Mr. Ed told me.
Not just a name drop, so.
You know, guys, we have some people that are very conscious about pesticides and organic and all that kind of stuff. I personally, I look at our country, we are such gluttons that we have learned how to, we are manufacturing food. If you remember when you were a kid, and a chicken breast was about that size right there. Now a chicken breast is about this size right here. I mean, they're doing stuff to our food. The only thing is, I look at it and say, I can't stop all the stuff you're doing to my food, so I'm just going to pray that God will protect me and just, I'm going to try to eat sensibly. I'm not going to eat the whole doggone breast anymore. But I'm going to think about how can I do it. But you're right to look at organic. If it's sealed up and it hasn't had the actual pesticide hasn't gone into the beef or the bean or whatever else, then yeah, I think that's okay. But I don't buy it. Because to me, they're like it's extra money for somebody that's, worried about something that I'm sitting there thinking, see, he has every hair of my head numbered. He knows exactly when he's going to call me home. If I'm going to die eating pesticide, it will be done. I'm okay. Two questions. Here. I'm over my time right now, so I want to let you know it's your fault. Okay.
Why is it so hard to find seeded watermelon?
Why is it so hard to find seeded watermelons?
Yes. I mean, when I go to Kroger.
You like spit them or what you got going? I'm with her. But because we're so lazy in America that people don't want to spit those seeds, so they go ahead and they started growing seedless watermelon. And here's the bad deal. A seedless watermelon isn't as flavorful as a seeded watermelon. So you go through and everybody's sitting there, going, I had to have a seedless watermelon. I'm sitting there going, well, you don't know what good watermelon tastes like that because you have no idea. But that's okay. So now it's like seedless watermelon everywhere. It's the same with red grapes. If you want to have a daggone good red grape, a globe with seeds in it, that's the kind you make a salad with. The other ones take put in school lunch for kids. What's your second question?
And then produce. How does it determine where you buy your produce? Do you first buy local or within Ohio for farmers as far as your produce?
Sometimes. It depends on what I'm doing. Guys, I gotta tell you, one of the biggest mistakes that got happened in our country, another one of those little, I'm too busy, I'm lazy. This bag lettuce stuff is a joke. I mean, you're talking $2.50 to $3 for a bag of lettuce, and I'm sitting there thinking, are you kidding me? I can, and I think you can get some really good lettuce and make your own salad. Does it take more time in a colander to rinse it and wash it and cut it? Yes. But you know what? You got to be careful with that kind of stuff. I think that local produce is good, but here's the deal. If you buy a pepper that's been hydrocooled, that's how the guys that grew up hydrocool, I know there's nothing illegal with it, but they harvest the peppers in California, Mexico, and they go ahead and they put them into a pretty, not freezing, but it's pretty cold, and they hydrocool them with a misting, and it keeps the produce really fresh for a lot longer. Our stuff, when my cucumbers come out of my garden, I got 3 days, and they start wrinkling at the end. A cucumber at the store, it's like 3 weeks. The cucumber's still hanging in there because it's been hydrocooled and it's been taken care of. That's how that's how the guys that grow the stuff, that do it for a living out in California, Mexico, and different places, that's how they make their living, because they know they got to make it so that it lasts. So, back to what you asked, the question is this. If you have a reliable, reputable, local produce farmer, merchant, and you love their corn, you love their vegetables, you love their lettuce, I buy as much as I can because I love the taste of it. It's more flavorful, it's got a better taste to it, and I like the fact that I know that it just got picked. But at the same time, if you're going to try to put it in your refrigerator and keep it for a week or two, you're done. It's not going to work. Good? Anybody else? Going once. You have one more question. This is the last question for the night. I am on a schedule over here, okay? Yes. Is this a banana question? Banana question?
No. For a family who has mixed diet, say there's a vegan and then a traditional American diet.
Okay.
What is
vegan and a regular diet. Okay? Well, it depends on what the vegan person really loves. They're probably going to like salad, fruit. They're probably going to have some kind of a tofu or something, none of that kind of stuff. But I'm going to have plenty of that. And then for the person that's on a regular protein meat diet, I'm going to fix them a side dish of meat that they can actually go ahead and have in their lunch and stuff, and just add the salad to it. And potato is good too. Now the vegan person can also, instead of putting a butter or a sour cream on their potato, can use a salsa. That's one of my favorite things right now, is a baked potato with salsa on it. So, I know, that's why I got this, okay, but that's why I think you can mix a meal that actually gives the vegan what they want, and at the same time allows the person that wants a protein to have it too.
What about the grocery, like station? The produce is not the cheapest. The meat is very expensive now too, so what about how would they cut down on their grocery bill? The vegan will be buying a whole lot more fruits and vegetables than an average person.
I buy a whole lot of more fruits and vegetables than the average person, but I contend that you're better off buying the fruits and vegetables and eating those than you are spending the money on lunch meat, bread, crackers, cookies, and other stuff. So I kind of balance it out that way in my head. Thank you. Yes, sir.
What do you think about frozen, like blueberries and?
Depends on the brand.
I used to make the smoothie. I used to buy fresh. They go bad so quick, so I found out if I buy frozen, I put them in the freezer, take a handful out.
Great move.
I even peel the bananas when they get ripe, cut them up, put them in a little bag, freeze them.
Absolutely. Good for you. You're on it, man. You need to be teaching us. Get up here. The thing is, guys, that's the kind of stuff you can do to say, because frozen is really, for the most part, it's just, take fresh and make it convenient for us so we can enjoy it. Let me pray for you. Lord God, just grateful for this group that I love so much. Father, I pray that you'll give each one of us the ability to make better choices. Help us to be able to go in and know that when we're shopping, we really want to provide the best food for ourselves and our families, but at the same time, Lord, we want to do it in a way where we can be frugal and actually just spend a little less. Lord, most of all, I ask that you guard our hearts in this crazy country that we live in with so many possible impulsive buys. Help us to refrain so that we can go ahead and keep a healthy body to honor you. We love you, Jesus. It's in your name.